In today's video, I'll be getting into the stats and then the gameplay of the Battle Ram evolution that's coming into the game in April. And let me tell you guys, this thing is absolutely broken, and you will see why, especially when you see clips in gameplay of this. So it's a 2-cycle evolution. It has evolved barbs, which have 25% more hit points. When the Battle Ram breaks, it has those instead of the regular barbs. And the ability is the supercharge. So it deals area damage, 212, which is enough to kill goblins. But it's not just on some units, it's every single unit it dashes into while it's charging, it is dealing damage. It also has pushback. So when it's charging, if there's something like a P.E.K.K.A. or a Giant Skeleton, it'll push it back before those things even end up hitting the Battle Ram that's charging. And then it also bounces after impact, meaning when it crashes into a tower or a building, it'll charge again and hit it again. Now, if we compare the stats of the Battle Ram and the Evolved Battle Ram, we can see that the damage and the hit points are the same, but if we get into the ability side over here, we can see that it has Evolved Barbarians, which are level 11 on Tournament Standard, as opposed to just the regular Barbarians at level 11, and then it has 212 pushback damage the whole time while it's charging. Okay, I'll show you guys this crazy clip. I feel like it speaks for itself, and it just shows how broken the Battle Ram evolution actually is, and then after this, I'll get into a full game. So all those Beatty cards get completely wiped out, and then it bounces multiple times on the King Tower, bounces a couple times on the Arena Tower there after bouncing on top of the Tombstone and destroying it in the process. Skarmy, bye-bye, gets completely wiped out. Mini P.E.K.K.A. gets pushed aside. The Evolved Barbs end up on the tower. Valkyrie gets shoved aside. It connects to the tower. Barbs get shoved out of the way. This is just complete madness. You can even get King Tower activations off of it, off of the miner you see there. Okay, finally, something's going to stop it. A 7 elixir card. That's nice. Cage doing pretty much nothing against it. Alright, now let's get into a full game with the Battle Ram evolution to see if it's as broken in an actual game as it looks in just the clips and from the stats. I feel like it is going to be very broken in a lot of scenarios, but I think it's going to be something that's a little bit matchup dependent, because I do think there are some decent counters to it. For example, like the Little Prince and the P.E.K.K.A. which you saw, which is why I'm showing a game that has P.E.K.K.A. in it, P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam, because I do think P.E.K.K.A. is going to be a fairly decent counter to it, which is nice because it happens to pair very well with the Battle Ram as well. And then Little Prince, of course, is going to be decent against it too, because that Guardian ability is going to end up pushing it back. With that being said, though, it's very crazy that it bounces off the building. So what you're going to see in this game is you're seeing a Battle Ram cycle deck which has the cannon in it. You're going to see the cannon is practically useless when that Evolved Battle Ram is being used. So like I said, I feel like it just really depends on the situation. I feel like there's going to be some times where it's like the most broken Evo in the game if you don't have a good answer. And then if you got an answer, it's just going to be like, okay. So it's 2 cycles, so you're often not going to be able to get it down at all in single elixir. That's just kind of how it works when it's a 2-cycle Evo, which means you are going to want to make sure the deck you're running it in isn't too expensive. So ideally, P.E.K.K.A. might be the max amount of elixir cost you want to go with. It's likely not going to be fitting inside of, Golem decks super well or anything like that, because of course the synergy isn't going to be there. But with that being said, it's going to be interesting to see if we see 3 Musketeers coming back, because 3 Musketeers does pair very well with the Battle Ram Evo. So like you saw right there, the Little Prince is a pretty reliable answer to it because it pushes it back and it's a nice little reset to it. But look at it right there against the cannon. It bounces off and then goes towards the tower. So even if it doesn't end up always connecting, it's always forcing a massive elixir trade out of people because you can't defend the Battle Ram how you traditionally do. Like if it's just a regular one and you're simply going for the cannon or the Tesla or the Goblin Cage, whatever, that isn't going to cut it with the Evolved one. You're going to have to overcommit and spend a ton of elixir. You might have to waste something like an Evo Zap just to reset it, a Little Prince ability, you name it. So you're just going to have to overcommit, even if it doesn't reach your tower, if that makes sense. So regular Battle Ram getting easily defended, which is what you would typically expect. So if that was kind of the Evolved one, that would have likely been a different story, because that bandit would have just been shoved backwards and it probably would have made a beeline straight towards the tower. So it's kind of been a little bit of a stalemate thus far. It can get a little interesting, I suppose, when both people have that evolved Battle Ram. So let's see, Musketeer coming in the back here. The evolved Battle Ram is back in rotation, so we'll see if it gets more value this time and has a potential chance of making it to the tower. But from what you're seeing in this game, oh, well, right as I say that, okay, well, it got a little bit of value there, but it wasn't too bad. I believe it connected to the tower and bounced off, but that could have been a lot worse. But anyway, I was about to say, it doesn't seem like it's completely winning the game on its own. Like, it's not like, I don't know if it's the Evo Bomber level of crazy broken where it's like one Evo Bomber is just getting a ridiculous amount of value. I mean, maybe you'll see that sometimes, but like I said, it's just very situational. And if my commentary isn't the best right now, I want to apologize in advance. It's actually, guys, right now 6:30 a.m. for me. I'm really tired while I'm recording this. I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible so you guys have the Evolve Battle Ram gameplay and the info for that. So if it sounds like sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about, that's why. Anyway, Evo Zap coming in here defensively. So like I said, the resets are going to be nice against it. So things like Ewiz, Zappies, that's going to kind of be a nice little have in your deck. And it's probably an indirect buff to the Evolve Zap as well. So that's kind of nice for the Evolve Zap, which is already pretty good, that it ends up being a counter to another Evo. That's kind of how it works as more Evos get added. It's kind of like as they counter each other, that's just naturally giving buffs and nerfs to them. So regular Battle Ram coming in, obviously going to get stopped right in his tracks by the cannon, but cycled back to an evolved one really quick. It's coming in now. Is it going to be able to do something? It bounces off the cannon, and see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, even if it doesn't always make it to the tower, and the fact that it has the evolved barbarians, it is definitely very, very strong and hard to deal with in a lot of situations. All right, let's get into what other people think of the new Battle Ram evolution. Seriously though, how do you defend this? This looks so busted. A bunch of laughing emojis. Bowler use rate's 200%. Are you fucking kidding me? This is an April Fool's joke, right? How do I even stop this? Lol, how do you actually kill this? Now let me show you guys a couple people who are defending the Evolved Battle Ram, saying that people are overreacting. I might be the only one who thinks this looks fine compared to recent Evos. Having to cycle 2 regular Battle Rams is hard, unlike the Knight or Skellies, where you can easily cycle them. Getting easily countered by a building or a reset, well, the building I disagree with because it bounces off of them clearly and only fits into one archetype, looks like a fun card. And then Lucas, who is a pro, said it's not as oppressive as Evolved Bomber and Evo Firecracker, where even if you had a proper answer, it would still get a lot of value before you could play it. But for sure, if you don't have good answers to that, you just insta-lose, so dumb matchup dependent concept. Well, that's it for the video. Overall, the Battle Ram Evo looks pretty fun. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to give a like and subscribe.